TIA meets to discuss the opportunities to address communications in healthcare. Innovating Standards starts now. And ICT continues to permeate through the healthcare industry, and TIA is right in the middle of ongoing discussions to facilitate the synergy of converging networks. Today we have the pleasure of speaking with retired Rear Admiral Jim McGarrah. Jim is the director of the Information and Communications Laboratory at the Georgia Tech Research Institute and has more than 30 years of military and telecommunications industry experience. And also on the program, as usual, is Herb Congdon of TIA's Department of Technology and Standards. And gentlemen, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Thanks for being here. Jim came in from Atlanta?
From Atlanta.
Okay, great.
From Atlanta.
And you're heading back to Atlanta in just a few minutes?
Yes, this afternoon.
Great. We usually like to give kind of a high-level overview of our program today, but I'm going to go right into a direct question here. There is an issue out there called the printer problem. Can you describe that for us?
Yeah, let me give you a little context. Georgia Tech hosted Doug Fridsma, who's the director of the Office of Standards and Interoperability for the Office of National Coordinator in Health and Human Services. And in a lecture at Georgia Tech last fall, Doug mentioned that his focus is on solving the printer problem. So what that means is, here I am in DC, but my medical records are in Atlanta, and if I had need for that information up here in DC, the way it typically works today is that my healthcare provider in Atlanta prints the relevant information and then either scans or faxes that information to the healthcare provider up here. So what Doug is looking at from a federal perspective is how can we create an interoperable, secure means to digitally transfer that healthcare information in those kinds of situations.
Now, there's a center called the NEEF Center. Can you describe that for us as well, please?
What we're looking at Georgia Tech is leveraging work that we're already doing in the information exchange arena. One of the groups in my laboratory has been instrumental over the last decade in creating what has become the National Information Exchange Model, or NIEM. This is a model that's been adopted by both Homeland Security and Department of Justice as their common information exchange standards. Health and Human Services has just become aligned with the consortium of federal agencies that drives the development of the NIEM standard. That consortium is referred to as NEEF, the National Information Exchange Federation. About a year ago, a little over a year ago, they decided they needed a more formalized governance structure, but they wanted an independent structure. So we have established what we call the NEEF Center at Georgia Tech. The federal agencies buy into that center, become members of that center, if you will, but that forms the foundation hosted at a third-party independent location and organization. It forms the foundation of a more formalized governance structure for the different federal agencies that are looking at information exchange standards.